Okay, there he is. Spool up the AR. Fire the missile. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Come on. What? He crashed and I got it. What? Gotcha! Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Sorry for the intro, that was one of the more fun aspects. Today I'm in the leichtes Flugabwehrsystem Ozelot, the new German SPA of bat rating 9.0 in the tech tree of rank 6. It comes after the Gepard and just before the Flakrak Panzer 1, yeah, that it is. And the TLDR version, to boil it down, this is the German tracked version of the Japanese Humvee truck, the Type 93. If you have no idea about the Type 93, don't worry, because here you get another scene combination of what this vehicle can and cannot do, together with a rundown of the statistics. So this is a very tiny vehicle, and at first glance you might look at it as if this is just a variant of the Weasel. In this case I want to compare it to the Weasel 1A4. But a closer look reveals, while the armor with 8mm is similar, it's a bit of a longer chassis. You have a stronger engine with 110 horsepower and 4.1 tons makes it a bit heavier. Top speed is also reduced to only, quote-unquote, only 70 km per hour, but it's still very maneuverable, very fast in acceleration, and the horsepower to ton ratio is still around 25, whereas on the Weasel 1A4 it's roughly 30. So highly mobile and still tiny, but much taller due to the missile launchers. And yeah, let's talk about those missile launchers of the Fliegerfaust 2 Stinger variants. In the launcher there are 4, and you have a complete set of reloads, making a total of 8. And you also, which is another difference to the Weasel, you have also smoke launchers, which is better than nothing. So let's talk about the missiles for a moment. While you have radar, you cannot shoot them via slaving them to radar or via any other direct firing method. You have to spool up the IR tracking, and then the target has to be close enough, depending on what kind of target it is. Helicopters have to come uncomfortably close, together with aircraft. When they come towards you, have to be much closer than if you fire at them in the rear aspect. So you have the FIM-92E and the FIM-92K SAM, both with a caliber of 70mm, and both have, according to the stat cards, identical stats. But I've been told that the FIM-92K seems to have more reliable, better tracking. The maximum speed of both is 1000 meters per second, and the TNT equivalent of the bursting charge is 540 grams with a proximity warhead. Then there is also your tracking, which is pretty good. You have 10 degrees of launcher depression, and you have 70 degrees of launcher elevation. The turret rotation speed is pretty fast as well. It is, don't let me lie, I actually have to look this up, 100 degrees per second, and the elevation speed is 40 degrees per second. So it feels like you're playing in arcade. No problem in getting it on targets. That helicopter artistic screeching number 1. We will see more of this later. So here is a good example where the range limitation is. The target is locked with radar. It is also already locked via AR tracking, but as you can see, I cannot fire because he's too far away. He has to come towards me and close the distance, and only when then we're less than 5 kilometers in distance, I can fire the missile. And then there is the thing about the bursting charge. Yeah, that is an AL-28. It's tanky. While I scored a critical hit and he's on fire, I also launched a second one, which doesn't seem to do all that much. And the critical thing here is he still can bring the payload into the target area. So if this would be, I don't know, a plane with a nuke on board, we would have just lost the match, point number 1. Also, a 3-ton bomb would still do the trick for a certain portion of my team. Now, so far so good. So this thing is tiny and very fast, very mobile, very maneuverable. It all sounds good, but you have no defense whatsoever. And also a big difference to the Weasel 184 is that you have severe issues maneuvering in a city, because you're lightweight, and the just lack of momentum means that you cannot just push through fences etc. as easily, whereas the Weasel just could single tap the obstacle out of the way. Ah yeah, dead helicopters and their autistic screeching. I hate it so much. Anyway, now let's talk about the similarity to the Type 93. You have no defense whatsoever against an enemy tank. You cannot directly fire your missiles even at a Russian vodka potato delivering milk truck. I don't know. And that is an issue. Yes, you have your arty strike, and yes, you can scout. So you rely on your team. You are probably one of the best scouts in the game, because you can go to places and you can defend yourself versus helicopters and aircraft to a certain extent. But then when you scout the targets and you make the minimap blink like a Christmas tree, very often your team just doesn't make anything out of it. Here, 13 scoutings, only 3 kill assists. And that was actually the best result I had. I had battles with 30, 35 scoutings where I did get only 1 or 2 kill assists out of that. So look at this situation. I scout here an enemy tank, and he is immediately not aware of me. In a Gepard, I could have just shredded his side with the APDS round, or at least disable his gun barrel, whatever, track him, make it really uncomfortable, and then put an arty strike on him. Here he is still mobile, and he can kill me even with the heavy machine gun with ease. But yeah, seems like he's looking for me, and I can scout all day long. If my team is busy dying due to the enemy's Soviet mega push, then there is nobody that can actually profit from my scouting, and that is frustrating. And this happens very often, especially when you are starting your day in this thing. If you start your battle in this thing and the enemy just doesn't suicide rush with helicopters, and if for a very long time they just stay in their tanks, there is nothing that you can do actively to help your team. So effectively your team is one man down, and that is a problem. And I've been criticized for that, and I understand players, saying things like that, because if I would be in a Gepard, I at least could shred BMPs etc. and defend them from aircraft at closer ranges. So yeah, not really happy about that one. And as you can see, while this is hilarious, it will only end in one way. So is this really an upgrade compared to the Gepard or the Flak Panzer 1? I don't think so. I think it's more of a hilarious side grade, and for a serious lineup, this is not worth the 270,000 RP, no doubt about that. And so that is actually all that I have left to say. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I still hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this like if you did. For me it means the world, for you it's just a click. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more, and as usual, we will see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.